Welcome to the Beyond Bloated Podcast. I'm Carly, a certified health coach helping women ditch their bloat without having to follow super strict and stressful protocols. As someone who's struggled with all sorts of digestive issues for over 5 years, I know exactly how you're feeling. I also know that there's a way to feel better, and it doesn't have to involve tons of expensive supplements and insanely restrictive diets. Join me as I share all of my bloat-busting wisdom to help you say goodbye to that bloated belly and regain your confidence. It's time for you to move beyond bloated. Happy spooky season, my friends. I love October. October is my favorite month. I love fall. I love Halloween. I'm Canadian and we have Thanksgiving in October, so there's a long weekend in there where we get to eat pumpkin pie and turkey and all the things. Love October. So I'm in my element here, and I posted on my Instagram story a little while ago asking, should I do a Halloween themed episode? And you all said, yeah, obviously, which I'm glad you did because I was going to do it anyway. As I said, Halloween is my favorite holiday, and that is for many reasons. I love spooky, scary things. I love horror movies. I like going to those events where it's kind of like a haunted maze or whatever. You know, there's actors that jump out and scare the shit out of you. Love that. Love a costume party. I love dressing up. Last year, I was Freddy, and my boyfriend was Jason, so we were Freddy versus Jason. This year, I'm actually going to a boat party. So it's a Halloween-themed boat party in Vancouver where you ride around on the water for 3 hours. Everyone's dressed in costume. There's drinks, there's a DJ, there's dancing. So I'm super excited for that. And that is actually what made me come up with today's topic. So today, we are going to discuss how to enjoy Halloween parties without experiencing that dreaded bloat. Because Halloween parties are freaking awesome, and I don't want you to miss out because you're scared of looking 6 months pregnant in the cute costume that you picked out, or the scary costume, if that's more your vibe. I love a good scary costume. Halloween parties can definitely trigger bloating for many reasons. There's usually alcohol and Halloween candy and party foods. And if you're like me and you have a strict bedtime of 10 p.m., but you're going to a boat party that doesn't end until like 11:30 p.m., now you're out of your routine because you're going to bed way too late. So in this episode, I'm going to share some simple tips to help you enjoy your Halloween party without waking up the next day feeling like a big old bloated ghost. We're going to cover everything from mindful eating tricks to drink choices, and even how to recover from a Halloween hangover without upsetting your gut if you accidentally or on purpose drank a little too much. Let's start with some pre-party planning. As you likely know, prevention is better than cure, especially when it comes to bloating. I know for myself, once I become bloated, that's that for the day. Like, I can't reverse that and become unbloated by nighttime if I become bloated in the afternoon. Once it's there, it's sticking around. Maybe your situation is different, but that's my experience. So I'm all about preventative measures. What can we do beforehand and during to make sure we don't get bloated at all? My first pre-party tip is to eat a balanced meal before you go to the party. So don't show up hungry because then you're going to want to snack on all the Halloween candy and whatever else is there. Instead, make yourself a nice dinner or lunch, whatever time your party is at, and make sure it's nutrient dense and it includes fiber, protein, healthy fats, a healthy carb, a balanced meal that's going to help keep you full for longer. It's going to help you balance your blood sugar and keep the bloat away. I would recommend doing this an hour or so before you leave for the party. That way you have some time to digest, because if you have any sort of social anxiety or going to a party stresses you out, if you eat your meal and then you immediately go to the party and you're stressed, your body's going to have a hard time digesting that meal. So you want to stay in a calm, relaxed state as you're digesting for as long as possible. But you also don't want to wait too long because then you're going to be hungry again by the time you get to the party. So I find an hour beforehand is a perfect balance for myself, but you know your body best, so The timing is up to you on that one. Pre-party tip number 2 is to hydrate, especially if you plan on having alcohol at the party. Alcohol is extremely dehydrating, and being dehydrated can cause bloating. Hopefully you prioritize hydration on a regular day anyway, but I would say in this situation, amp it up. I like to start my days with warm lemon water, and then I add a pinch of pink Himalayan sea salt in there for an extra hydration boost. So the lemon helps with digestion, kickstarts digestion in the morning, and then the salt adds electrolytes to your water, and then the water is water. So first thing in the morning, you're kind of dehydrated because you just slept all night without any water. So you slug that back, boom, instant hydration first thing in the morning. Continue to drink water with electrolytes in it throughout the day. So that could be the salt that I just mentioned, or if you like a little flavor, you could get a electrolyte powder. Just be mindful of the ingredients in those. You want to get one that is as clean as possible, but you also don't want to overdo it. You actually can drink too much water. So I always say to monitor your urine. When you pee, what's the color? If it is completely see-through, like you are peeing pure water, you're probably overdoing it. If your urine is like a really dark yellow, you're probably a little dehydrated. We're looking for like a nice pale yellow. And also frequency. Like if you're peeing every 30 minutes, that's too much. You need to slow it down. My third and final pre-party tip is to avoid any common bloat triggers. So whether that be common things that are just you specific. So maybe at this moment in time, cauliflower makes you bloated. Don't eat cauliflower with your dinner. That could be common sense, but hey, we need reminders, right? So if you have specific bloating triggers, don't eat those that day. Other than that, I would also avoid any common bloating triggers just in general, like carbonated drinks, greasy, salty foods. Like don't go and get takeout for your dinner thinking, oh, I'm getting McDonald's and it's balanced because it has a protein and carbs. Make yourself a nice, healthy meal before the party. It can be super simple. You could do quinoa, chicken, avocado, roasted veggies. You've hit all your food groups. That is a balanced meal that's going to keep you full for longer than McDonald's. And that should not bloat you unless you have a specific intolerance to any of those items, or you just bloat no matter what and you haven't figured out the reasoning behind that. But that is generally a pretty safe meal for most people. I'm going to throw in a bonus because I just thought of it and it makes sense. It also is important how you are eating this meal, right? So if you're trying to multitask and get ready for your party and you're trying to like pre-drink while eating this, don't do any of that. Take your deep breaths before you eat, sit down at the table, do not have distractions, chew your food to applesauce consistency, slow it down. We want to be in a calm state when we eat. So if we're trying to do all these different things and multitask and we're excited for the party, which, yeah, of course we are, but just try to be as calm as possible while you're eating this meal. That's going to really help you not become bloated before you get to the party. Okay, now we're at the party. And I'm going to assume that your party has food, whether that be a full-blown buffet table or just a few snacks. We're going to talk about how to navigate that so we can avoid bloating while we're at the party, because if you're there the whole night, you need to eat something, especially if you're drinking. Drinking on an empty stomach, do not recommend. So hopefully you've had your balanced meal before you got to the party. So when you first get there, don't just dive right into the food simply because it is there. Wait till you actually are hungry before you start to eat. If you just start eating like an hour after you've had this meal, you're just eating for the sake of eating, that is likely going to cause bloating. That's also not enough time for us to fully digest the previous meal. That's a whole other issue. So wait until you actually feel like, yeah, I'm hungry, I'm ready to eat before diving into the food. Once you are ready to eat, first take a full scan of the food options. So as I said, if it's like a full-blown buffet, don't just line up and start piling everything you see on your plate. do a full scan, like see what's available and make conscious decisions at that moment before you put it on your plate. Taking this moment to just pause and observe and think about your decision is going to prevent you from impulse eating everything that looks good. And trust me, I know it's not easy when you see all this food laid out and it does look good, but just take a minute, take it in, and decide what is going to serve me best in this moment. Your best choices are going to be the most gut-friendly foods. These are the things that are going to be least likely to cause you to bloat. Even if you're not having a full-blown meal at this party, it's still important to pair your snacks the same way you would a meal. So you want to have a fiber, a protein option, a healthy fat. If you are eating carbs, like if you want the candy, you can have the candy, but have smaller amounts than maybe you would like, and make sure you are pairing that with the other things that I just mentioned. Let me give you an example of common party foods and what I would do. So I would start by looking for a fiber. Maybe there's a veggie tray. A lot of parties have veggie trays in my experience. So take some veggies. Maybe there's hummus to go with it. Perfect. You've got fiber. Hummus has a little bit of protein in it. Great. Now we want maybe a bigger protein option, more protein than what's in the hummus. If there's a charcuterie board, you could take some of the meats from the charcuterie board and have that as your protein. Moving on to healthy fats, look for nuts. There's usually a mixed nuts bag somewhere around at a party. So grab some almonds, some cashews, whatever nuts you like out of there. Boom, there's your healthy fat. And then carb, if you want to have one of the little mini chocolate bars or some of the candy there, or you want chips and guac, go ahead. 80-20 rule. You're at a party, you're there to enjoy yourself. And if you're pairing it with these other healthier choices, you're going to be much less likely to bloat than if you were to just show up and start eating the candy bars without the protein and the fiber and the healthy fats. So try to pair them accordingly. Eat the carb last. So dessert last, that mentality, that's going to help as well. Just be mindful of your portions. Eating slowly, savoring each bite, all the things that you would do at home, try to do them as best as you can at a party. I know it's completely different and it's not as easy, but maybe while you're eating, find yourself a quiet corner and just eat for that 20 minutes, 15 minutes, however much you're eating, whatever. Try. If you can't, you can't, I'm just giving you the tips for what's going to help prevent bloating the best, but you can only do what you can do. My final food-related tip is to try to stick to a one-time period of eating. Unless you're literally there all day long. But if you're there for 4 hours or something like that, have a time where you make your plate, you go sit, you eat it, you're satisfied, you're not stuffed, and then you don't eat anymore because you had what you want, you're full, you're good. If you're continuously snacking throughout the entire night, you will likely be bloated. Your body needs time to digest. And if we just keep eating, every time we start eating, the digestion process starts over again. So we could be midway through the digestion process and then we start eating and our body's oh, back to stage 1. So we need to completely get through that digestion process before we start eating. And if we're snacking the whole night, that's not happening. Moving on to beverages. Okay, most parties have alcohol, whether you choose to drink it or not. Obviously, your choice. I personally don't drink very often these days. A handful of times per year, honestly. And I do choose to drink at Halloween. That is something I want to do, and I do it. So, full disclosure, if you want to drink at the Halloween party, I'm not shaming you. I do it too. However, it is important to note that not all drinks are created equal when it comes to gut health. So I personally do not drink carbonated drinks like soda. So I don't mix any liquor with soda or anything sparkling. I don't drink beer. For one, it's disgusting. I've never liked beer. 2, it's carbonated. And 3, gluten. I'm gluten intolerant. A lot of people who experience bloating have a sensitivity to gluten. So I would recommend staying clear of beer. And just carbonated drinks in general introduce gas into the digestive system, which leads to bloating. So if you are drinking alcohol or not, I would personally recommend no carbonated beverages at the party. If your drink of choice is wine, I personally have found organic vegan wines to be the best for myself. Everybody is different, obviously, but I find if it's organic, that means it has not been sprayed with pesticides because that can cause disruption to the microbiome. And vegan means it doesn't have any casein in it. Whether or not anyone is that sensitive that it would interact and cause an issue, I honestly don't know, but better safe than sorry. So when I drink wine, which is very rare, I choose a very high quality organic vegan wine. Yes, it's more expensive, but I know that I will feel best drinking that. I won't feel hungover the next day, which I normally do if I don't buy this high quality wine. So yes, you might have to spend a little more money, but is that worth it to you? If liquor is more your vibe, I do think that is better on the gut. It's not good. I want to make it clear that drinking alcohol is poison and it is damaging your gut. There is no way around that, okay? If you are choosing to drink alcohol, you are doing damage to your gut. Now, obviously, someone who chooses to drink alcohol every weekend is going to do a lot more damage to their gut than someone who chooses to drink at the Halloween party and then not again for another 6 months, right? So there are varying degrees. Hey everyone, Carly here. If you are tired of feeling bloated and uncomfortable, which I know you are, I have something that can really help. My free ultimate guide to bloat busting. I've been there myself, and I know how frustrating it is to try super restrictive diets and expensive supplements without getting results. If those methods were going to work, they would have worked by now. That's why I created this guide to offer you a different approach. In the Ultimate Guide to Bloat Busting, you'll learn techniques to listen to your body and eat with intention, avoiding overeating and choosing foods that truly benefit you, tips for proper hydration to support digestion and reduce bloating, a guide to delicious foods that promote a healthy gut and how to easily incorporate them into your meals, and effective methods to manage stress, which plays a huge role in gut health. These simple, practical strategies can make a big difference in your daily life, helping you feel lighter, more energized, and comfortable in your own skin. Ready to ditch the bloat without strict diets or costly supplements? Download your free copy today at beyondbloated.com/ultimate-guide and start your journey to a bloat-free life. Now, let's get back to it. But just know alcohol is poison to the body. I don't care when people say, oh, but red wine is good for you. No, it isn't. It is not good for you. No amount of alcohol is good for you. But that's okay. If you want to indulge in it once in a while, you don't have to be 100% healthy all of the time. That's fine. I don't want anyone to have the misconception that I can drink and it's good for me. It's not. Anyway, back to what I was saying about liquor. So liquor is my personal choice. When I do choose to drink, I am a vodka girly. Clear liquors are going to be better than dark. So I personally would recommend vodka and gin over something like rum and whiskey. Your hangover is going to be less and they're a little easier on the gut. And then when you mix them, don't mix with carbonation. So avoid the soda water and don't mix with something really sugary like juice or syrups of some sort. I like to keep it super simple. When I drink vodka, I mix it with water and I throw in a lemon or a lime or some frozen berries or fruits of some sort. That is it. It's actually hilarious because I used to work as a server, and I kind of did a little bit of bartending there. And people would order, usually like older men, would order a vodka water. And I would think that was like the most disgusting thing. I'd be like, oh, this is like so gross. You're just drinking vodka and adding water to it. Like the worst thing I could imagine was drinking vodka water. And now that's all I drink. That's all I've drank for years. And I like it. And you can add the lemon, the lime, the fruits. Like you can kind of season it as you wish. The fruits sweeten it up. I mean, you might need to adjust or find your own recipe, but vodka water with some fruit in there, that is what works for me. My final tip when it comes to alcohol, obviously try not to overdo it. If you are drinking liquor, you're pouring your own shots, you need to measure it. It's so easy to just freehand it and you've got 3 shots in there. It gets out of hand fast. Secondly, try to alternate your alcoholic beverages with a hydrating drink, like water with a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt in there. If you have electrolytes that you can bring with you, you can drink those in between your alcoholic beverages. That's going to be a lot better for your gut and for your hangover. Speaking of hangovers, let's move into the post-party recovery. So let's say maybe you had a little bit too much candy or one too many drinks. That's okay. It happens. Maybe you did it on purpose, Live your life. It's all good. But here's what you can do to help you recover the next day. We're going to take a tip from our pre-party planning and use that as our post-recovery tip. So start your day with a big old glass of warm lemon water. Add a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt in there, and that's going to help flush out the sugar, the alcohol, the excess salt, the yuckiness, and help you rehydrate. Because as I said, alcohol is extremely dehydrating. If you were eating a little bit too much sugars and greasy foods at the party, that's going to be dehydrating, and you probably just don't feel great. And a big old glass of warm lemon water to start your day is just very refreshing. We want to make sure we're eating breakfast. And I know there's like this myth about, cure a hangover, eat like a big old greasy bacon breakfast. Don't do that. I don't think that is helpful. I think what is helpful is a nice gut soothing breakfast. So maybe have some oatmeal with flax seeds, or a smoothie with spinach, ginger, and chia seeds to support digestion. Something that's going to be easy on the gut, easy to digest, but not greasy and heavy. Fresh air and movement can also do a hangover real good. So take a gentle walk, maybe go do some outdoor yoga or even just do it indoors. That's fine too. That'll help digestion. Fresh air just feels really good, especially when you feel hungover and yucky. And movement can also help get your bowels going. So maybe you went off your routine, you stayed up too late, you drank alcohol, you had some foods that you normally wouldn't eat. You might be constipated. I know I probably would be. So going for a walk or doing yoga or stretching, things like that can help get your bowels moving and help relieve constipation. Finally, sipping on some herbal teas like peppermint or ginger tea are really good for reducing bloat and calming an upset stomach. If you have any nausea, depending how hard you went at this party, ginger tea can help with that too. So sip on your ginger tea throughout the day, and hopefully that will help alleviate any discomfort that you might be feeling in your tummy. So there you have it. Those are my tips for pre-party, at the party, and post-party to make sure you look good in your costume and you don't have to worry about looking 6 months pregnant. You don't have to worry about having an upset stomach and having to leave. I'm going to a boat party, so I actually cannot leave. So if I wasn't confident that my gut health was in tip-top shape and I knew what I was doing going to this party, I would be horrified because I'd be like, oh my God, what if I ate something or drank something that caused me to have stomach pain and gas and diarrhea and I had to leave? But I know what's up and I know that's not going to happen. So I'm committing to this 3-hour boat party, and I'm super excited. As a quick little recap here, before the party, make sure you are hydrated and eat a balanced meal. While you're at the party, make mindful choices, pace yourself with food and drinks, and don't forget to give yourself some love the following day. If you're looking for more tips like this on just an average day, you can download my Bloat-Free Day checklist for free. That's on my website, beyondbloated.com/checklist. I'll drop the link for you in the show notes too. So that's just a list of things that I do in the morning, afternoon, evening, and all the time. Me and my clients, I recommend they do these as well. And these are things that are going to help you not be bloated on a day-to-day basis. As a final note, I would love to know if you're dressing up for Halloween, what are you dressing up as? I love Halloween. I love costume parties. So send me a text using the send me a text function in the show notes, or send me a DM on Instagram at beyond.bloated, or send me an email, carlyclose@beyondbloated.com. Tell me what your costume is. If you're not going out this year, but you have like a previous costume that was really good, send me a picture, send me a text, tell me what it was. I want to know. It gets me excited. So looking forward to that. And I hope these tips were useful for you and you are able to go out and enjoy your Halloween. Happy spooky season. I will talk to you next week. Thank you for listening to the Beyond Bloated podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe and leave a review. And don't forget to share this podcast with your fellow gut goddesses. If you'd like to chat about today's episode, send me a DM on Instagram at beyond.bloated. Until next time, bye!